I know I already did a video tribute to Cloris Leachman, but I've been kind of thinking about Phyllis and Bess's relationship, and I think it's kind of unique because the mother-daughter dynamic is kind of backwards, except for a couple of times in the pilot, Bess calls her mother Phyllis, and we kind of find out later that Phyllis is raising her by the book, like as in parenting books. And in Bess, You Is My Daughter Now, which is only the third episode, Lars allegedly has varicella or chickenpox. And so Bess has to stay with Mary for a while. And Mary first tries to do things Phyllis's way, but she pretty quickly abandons that and just treats her like a kid, and we get a very sweet montage. And Bess ends up not wanting to go home, so she doesn't go home until she sees that Phyllis is upset, which I think you kind of see that, that it's backwards, that like Bess is comforting her mother. In Birds and Bees, Phyllis decides that it's time to have the talk with Bess, but she can't do it herself, so of course Mary has to pitch in, and she's understandably uncomfortable with that idea. And when Mary finally does decide to bring up the subject, she finds out that Bess already knows all about the biological aspects. She just wants to know if you can love somebody without having to involve sex, which I think kind of shows that for all of Bess's maturity, she's still a kid. You kind of forget that because the way she talks and the way she carries herself, I think you could kind of forget that sometimes. And then in Care and Feeding of Parents, Bess has written a little essay in school that Phyllis decides needs to be published. And it starts out as maybe a good idea, but it falls apart pretty quickly because Phyllis wants to do the work herself. And if this came from something that Bess wrote, shouldn't she also be doing the book? And they get into a disagreement over the dedication for the book that they haven't written yet. Of course, this is all Phyllis wanting to be the center of attention. And of course, Bess ends up having to be the grown up and, put a stop to it all. Phyllis is by no means perfect as a mother, but at the end of the day, she does mean well. Even though it may not seem that way, at first. But in a way, I think it's kind of a blessing that Bess is as mature as she is, because I think in some ways Phyllis needed a mother, because that's kind of what I've sort of figured out from watching these episodes so many times. So I hope you liked the video. As usual, my Twitter's in the description, and or you can just leave a comment below if you have a suggestion. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thanks.